Hey guys, what is up? It's me, Sam Nova198 again, and today I want to share my thoughts on the upcoming Game Awards that are happening on December 12th. And I'm not going to go over through every nomination like I did last year, but I want to share my thoughts because this year has gotten, this year's probably gotten people the most, I'd say, confused, and I'd say a bit angry. And just straight up pissed off. I've seen a lot of people pissed off with the Game Awards this year. I think more so than last year, because last year the Game Awards when the nominations came out, but during the show there was a lot of people noticed some things that were kind of off about the awards. For one thing, there were very little awards being given out, and mostly it was all announcements. But also during whenever somebody got on stage to accept their award, they were given very little time to basically thank everybody. They only had, I think 30 seconds, and there would be a sign that said, please wrap it up. And the Game Awards, I didn't always see it as this, but I finally think I saw it last year. It was just an advertisement. It felt like Winter Game Fest, which I've heard a lot of people call it. How there's Summer Game Fest and Winter Game Fest. It just was a complete disaster. It was a mess. And I would say the highlight of last year was Christopher Judge's moment where he said, yeah, my speech did go on a little too long in 2022 for my award for God of War Ragnarok. But he made a joke before he gave out the award, he said, but this year's speech is actually longer than this year's Call of Duty campaign, which, that's what a Chad thing to say about that, because that was hilarious. But it was just, the whole show went on for too long. It was very, very tedious, and it was, above all else, just kind of a waste of time. It felt more like I was watching people, it felt like I was being shown more just advertisements for games and and CGI trailers for games that I don't know how they're going to play. I don't know what they're like. Just, can we please stop doing that CGI? Anyways, I'm getting way off topic. But the Game Awards nominations came out about a couple weeks ago. It's been a pretty hot topic discussion online. And my thoughts on the nominees, so in case you don't know, the nominees for the Game Awards this year are Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. So those are the 6 nominations, but there's a lot of questions people had. A lot of people, one thing, I know people were very pissed off that Balatro won. Now, I'm not going to lie, the only nominations I played of this list was Astrobot. I still have not finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm going to be honest here, I was not in the mood to play that game this year. It wasn't bad, it's just, I was not in the mood to play a long RPG this year. I've tried, man. I really did. The only games I played this year that came out this year were Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Astrobot, and then Zelda. It's been a really bad year for me when it comes to finishing and completing games. But a lot of people were pretty pissed off about these nominations. Balatro seems to be the one that's getting the most hate, which I don't understand. Balatro was the indie darling of this year. When Hades came out, that was the critical indie darling of the year. People love Balatro. Hell, it's on iPhone now. It's on everything. People say it's a mobile game. It shouldn't count, but it counts to some people. It's on Switch, PS5, and Series X, and Steam. It's a game. It's fun. And from what I've seen, it actually looks like an actual game that you have fun with. I haven't played Black Myth. I may pick it up. I probably will finish Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in the future. Metaphor, I'm going to play whenever I can. And then Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, I will play whenever. But the one thing that confused, I think, everybody the most with the nominees was Shadow of the Erdtree. Because that's a DLC. That's an expansion. It's not a full game. But I know people will say, well, it's a big enough expansion to feel like a full game. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to hear that. Shut that shit up. It's just I'm not saying Elden Ring's a bad game, but Elden Ring won Game of the Year in 2022. If this was Elden Ring 2, I would understand that. But this is DLC. So why is a deal. Why are you saying, Jeff Keighley, that this is one of the best years in gaming when you're nominating a DLC for Game of the Year? Which there's always been a kind of the DLC category, because people say, oh, there's great DLCs that release every year. Yeah, sure. If they had a DLC category like best DLC, like they included different DLCs that came out in the year that were good enough to warrant an award, perfectly fine. But the problem with it is, it shows that this was not a great year for gaming. This was a complete disaster of a year. Like, how many layoffs happened? How many big budget flops happened? Like, look at what happened with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I didn't even buy that, but I knew that game was going to flop. Skull and Bones, knew that was going to flop. Hell, Concord, one of the biggest duds of the year. Like, you're real. And then the Firewalk, the studio that made Concord, shut down. How are you going to say this was a great year when literally it's been the exact opposite? And I don't want to hear the whole, oh, games went woke this year. Just stop saying that. I find it so annoying. Yeah, but it's just like, it's just with games like Concord, a game that nobody wanted. I never thought Concord looked good to begin with. I thought it looked like a very generic game, and I'm like, this was an 8 years in development. But you got games like Suicide Squad. But it's just, it's been a bad year for gaming. I don't know what it was this year, why Jeff Keighley, oh, it was one of the best years, it was a great year in gaming. I don't think that at all. I thought it was a trash year in gaming. It was a complete mess, man. And the fact that I say I'm more excited to watch Kraven the Hunter the night the Game Awards happen is not a good thing, because that movie doesn't look great. But good lord, man. But the Game Award nominees, the one I'm most interested to see what wins is the most anticipated game of the next year, because next year hopefully we'll have some games people want to play. Like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond's coming out. That's my game. That's my most anticipated game of next year, by the way. You got GTA 6, Death Stranding 2 on the beach. I've never actually played Death Stranding 1. I probably should. Ghosts of Yotei, Monster Hunter Wilds. Those are games that people want to play next year. And I'm not saying the games that came out this year were all bad. I'm not saying that at all. There were great games this year. It's just they were very spread out. Like, I know people probably will say, well, Stellar Blade should have been nominated in Elden Ring's place, because I definitely do agree that the whole DLC controversy is questionable, because don't get me wrong, Elden Ring is far from a bad game. I'm not saying it's bad at all, but I don't get why they had to nominate an expansion DLC for Game of the Year. I mean, to be quite honest, I don't think I'm going to watch the Game Awards this year. I'm just not, like I said, gaming hasn't really been that great for me this year. I've been kind of underwhelmed by a lot of stuff that came out. It's just been a really crappy year, and the Game Awards, to me, are just a bunch of crock. Maybe there'll be some cool announcements, but for right now, can't say I'm really excited to watch the Game Awards this year, man. I'm really not. I can't believe I said more excited to watch Kraven the Hunter, and that movie looks terrible, but at least it might be entertainingly bad. Maybe, I don't know. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. What do you guys think of the Game Award nominations? Do you think it's right to nominate a DLC for Game of the Year here, or do you think something else should have been nominated? Also, do you think the hate for Balatro is unfair? Because I think that's unfair. That's just me. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time, and goodbye.